It is 1:30 in the morning on a Saturday in Kreuzberg. You've been at a friend's apartment. Someone ran out of club mate, and you walk into the brightly lit corner store. This is the Späti, short for Spätverkauf. It functions as Berlin's most informal, democratic gathering spot. You will see Kreuzberg regulars meeting here after the bars close, and parents picking up milk at 7 a.m. If you are visiting the city, you might assume that stepping up to the counter and deploying the perfectly standard German, Hochdeutsch, that you learned on an app is the best way to earn the cashier's respect. The reality is that treating the Späti like a bank or a pharmacy works against you. Using highly formal German here marks you as a tourist instantly, often faster than if you had simply ordered in English. In this specific social space, belonging depends on tone, brevity, and knowing exactly which register to use. This flowchart compares two distinct paths through a standard Späti transaction, the textbook approach in red and the local approach in green. Following the red timeline, a visitor typically starts with a long apology about their poor German, followed by a polite, grammatically perfect sentence. This forces the busy person behind the counter to manage the customer's social anxiety, creating friction that bloats the interaction to 45 seconds and usually ends in an awkward switch to English anyway. Look at the green timeline. The local approach relies on specific, targeted microphrases. It shrinks the entire interaction down to a frictionless 8 seconds. Language learning apps optimize for grammatical correctness, but the Späti strictly demands cultural calibration. This matrix evaluates where textbook Hochdeutsch fails against street-level Berlinerisch. For the greeting, textbook input is a formal Guten Abend or a long apology. This politeness creates friction. Demanding formal attention halts the cashier's flow and triggers an immediate switch to English. The Berlin alternative is a single syllable, ma. It functions as a casual check-in and greeting all at once, without demanding formal attention. The outcome is casual acknowledgement. Adopting the local frequency builds instant neighborhood rapport, whereas traditional politeness can feel out of place. Moving to the transaction register itself, the textbook input relies heavily on the formal second person Sie. You might ask, haben Sie or akzeptieren Sie Kreditkarten? Using Sie in a late-night shop sounds stiff and occasionally satirical. It breaks the casual unwritten rules of the room. The street input drops the Sie entirely. Locals address the shop collectively with habt ihr, do you guys have? Or they drop the verbs altogether. Just ein Bier bitte. To British or Western sensibilities, this extreme brevity feels rude. But it aligns perfectly with Berlin's fluid approach to queuing and personal space. In Berlin, efficiency without panic is respect. Formal grammar is a functional liability here. Finally, the close. The classic trap is handing over a large note and waiting for exact change. This halts the line's flow and cements your outsider status. The local approach relies on two words, stimmt so, keep the change, followed by the casual sign-off, tschüss. Tschüss is calibrated perfectly for this environment. Auf Wiedersehen is far too formal, and absolute silence is cold. Sacrificing a few small coins in change buys you immediate social validation and a graceful exit from the Späti ecosystem. This scorecard maps out these rules based on your specific timeline in the city. If you are a short-term tourist, stop apologizing, abandon full sentences, and use English if necessary, but strictly adopt stimmt so and tschüss. If you are an expat or a long-term visitor, your task is to actively unlearn your Hochdeutsch habits, drop the formal Sie, and embrace brevity. The pavement outside the Späti is your testing ground. Here, strangers actually expect casual, low-stakes interactions using these specific rules. You do not need to be fluent to belong in Berlin, but because perfect grammar in the wrong setting is functionally incorrect, you must calibrate your register. The gap in the market is that standard language apps teach Hochdeutsch. They ignore the street-level dialect, tone, and pronunciation required to actually blend in. Street Tongue bridges that gap. It is built specifically to map how locals actually speak in cities like Berlin. Use their AI scenarios and pronunciation scoring to practice these micro-interactions, building your confidence before you step up to a real Späti counter. You can download the Street Tongue app via the link in the description. Tell us in the comments, what specific piece of local slang or street phrase changed how you were treated in a foreign city?